Every evening when the sun dips below the horizon, I like to let loose. That means every evening I turn up my speaker, pour myself a glass of wine, and belt out show tunes and power ballads while I cook dinner. I used to think I was pretty good at singing. I mean, I still do, but I'm not sure that my cat, Mr. Snuffles, agrees. Mr. Snuffles is my cat. He's 7 years old and weighs about 20 pounds. Of course, I didn't actually think that he was telling me that he wanted me to stop singing. I just said that because I was irritated by his constant yelling. It turns out he has some kind of instinct where he feels compelled to respond to me whenever I talk to him, even if I'm talking about the weather, giving directions, or arguing with Siri. So I just ignored him and kept on singing. I plugged the speaker back in and poured myself a glass of wine. This time he went one step further and pushed a chair over, blocking the door. He's got a perfectly round belly, a fluffy tail, and a really nasty streak. You win this round, but I'm still gonna sing. But this time I was prepared. I wedged a towel under the door to keep him out. Finally, I could sing to my heart's content. First he knocked over a picture frame, and then he jumped up on my counter and knocked over the salt and pepper shakers. It was Mr. Snuffles, and he was talking to me, but not in any language that I recognized. Then he stopped and started again. This time, it sounded like, "You smell like cat food," in despair. I laughed, but then I noticed that he was staring at me with an eerie look on his face. I took the headphones off and called out to him. "Hey buddy, are you trying to tell me something?" He jumped down and sauntered away. I took matters into my own hands and bought a microphone and speaker combo that connected to my phone via Bluetooth. Then he turned around and started staring at me with wide eyes. "Behind the curtains?" I whispered, horrified. He blackmailed me with my own singing. I sang my heart out, and the more I sang, the more Mr. Snuffles seemed to enjoy himself. He swayed to the music, his tail swishing back and forth, and for the first time in a long time, I didn't care what anyone else thought of my singing. I was too busy enjoying the feeling of having an audience, even if that audience was only a cat, under the bed, between the couch cushions, but I couldn't find it anywhere. Then I checked the charging cable and saw that it was unplugged. Had Mr. Snuffles knocked it off the charger while playing with the cord? I opened it, and sure enough, he had somehow recorded the entire concert, as if he had just committed the perfect crime. And that's when I noticed something odd. My phone was missing. I laid out a plate of cat food and set up a camera on my phone to record him eating. He had already posted my entire performance on TikTok, and he was watching the comments come in. I could see that the video had gone viral. Some people were calling me tone-deaf diva, while others were saying that they loved my rendition of Total Eclipse of the Heart. He dug in immediately, then looked up at me and started me. Then he strutted out of the room and jumped up on the counter to watch me perform. I felt a surge of pride. I might not be great at singing, but I was damn good at entertaining. Mr. Snuffles watched me intently, his green eyes shining with pride. Suddenly, it clicked for me. Clicking was the only noise that Mr. Snuffles made when he was happy. It was the sound he made when he rubbed against my legs and purred. It was the sound he made when I scratched his ears just right. Could it be that instead of hating my singing, Mr. Snuffles actually enjoyed it? I also made sure that my phone was charged and that I had plenty of wine. Then I went into my closet and shut the door. I jumped and accidentally knocked the headphones out of my hand. They fell on the floor, and one of them landed on the power cord of my lamp. It flipped the circuit breaker and plunged us into darkness. The next week, he turned off the speaker. I was halfway through belting out Defying Gravity from Wicked when suddenly my music cut out. Was he trying to tell me something? I tried the headphones on again, and this time I heard, "Please don't sing. Your singing makes me feel alive." I burst out laughing. I looked over and saw that he had gotten his paw stuck under the power cord. I stood there in the dark closet for nearly an hour listening to Def Leppard, Bon Jovi, and Meatloaf, all while sipping wine and belting out the lyrics. It was a pair of wireless Bluetooth headphones, the same kind that connect directly to a smartphone. Whoever had sent them clearly knew that I liked rock and roll music too. On the card attached to the headphones, someone had written, "For your nightly concert." Below that, someone had scrawled what I assumed was their name, Mr. Snuffleupaphinn Snuffles III. I laughed. Whoever had gotten me this gift understood how embarrassing my nightly serenades were for both me and my downstairs neighbors. Maybe it was my fiancé. He had been unusually quiet last night, and Mr. Snuffles paced back and forth on the other side of the door, growling and occasionally scratching at it. In fact, he seemed to enjoy it because my fiancé would join in and we would sing duets to him all the time. Then one day, before I had even finished my first glass of wine, Mr. Snuffles started staring at me like I was a mouse toy. Then he started to glare. At first, I thought maybe he was hungry or thirsty, so I filled his food and water bowls, but that didn't help. He just sat there glaring, and then he started yowling loudly. And while I usually reserve that nasty streak for my morning commute or my coworkers, lately he's been taking it out on me during my nightly concerts. I can take a hint? When I first moved in with my fiancé 3 years ago, Mr. Snuggles had no problem listening to me sing. "What is wrong with you?" I asked him. "You want me to stop singing?" He yelled again. That was when things got weird. "Oh my God," I yelled at him. "You little menace." But he just stared back at me, unflinching, and then he hopped down off the counter and walked away. The following evening, I was determined to get my hour of singing in, despite my cat's best efforts to stop me. "Okay, Mr. Snuffles," I told him. And I did. I sang my heart out until my fiancé came home. Then I gave up. It wasn't worth it anymore. The next day, I decided that enough was enough. Of course, Mr. Snuffles followed me and started batting at the crack under the door. At least I could have if I hadn't forgotten the Bluetooth headphones. The next morning, after I had successfully renegotiated my lease with my landlord and paid my overdue rent, I got a present in my mailbox. As soon as I put the headphones on, I heard a voice. The next night, I was determined to get my singing in, but I was also curious about Mr. Snuffles' midnight snacking habits. "Don't judge me," I said. "I'm trying to eat healthy." Then he looked back at his food and started making strange, clicking noises. I took the headphones back to the closet, and I was about to plug them in when Mr. Snuffles patted in front of me and stared up at me with wide eyes. But then I heard, "It also terrifies me." When the lights finally came back on, I found Mr. Snuffles sitting on my desk looking very pleased with himself. I searched everywhere for it. Oh my God, as soon as I stepped out of the closet, I heard the familiar click, 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 click of Mr. Snuffles typing on my keyboard. Mr. Snuffles saw me looking at the comments, and he gave me a satisfied smile. For the next hour,